Army takes full control of al-Dolu'eya and clears new areas of ISIL terrorists. On the eve of the UN Security Council's vote on a draft resolution to end Israel occupation, new storming-ins and escalation of Israel aggression are reported. More than 40 bodies of the passengers of the Malaysian airplane that crashed in the Indian Ocean 2 days ago are retrieved. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Irado Krikorian from the News Center in Damascus. As it was the case in Ain al-Arab, Nubul and al-Zahra in Aleppo countryside, as well as in Hawran, the people of DeirEzzour have formed a popular resistance front in the eastern part of the governorate to support the Syrian Arab Army in its war on terrorism. In a statement, the resistance front has claimed responsibility for the direct and indirect operations that targeted and sniped ISIL terrorists over the past 4 months. The resistance front called on the people to keep away from ISIS places and headquarters, which the resistance considered as legitimate targets. It pledged to restore security and peace to the governorate of DeirEzzour because the love of the homeland and the feeling of adherence to it reside deep in the hearts of its citizens, the statement affirmed. Welcome back. The Lebanese army continues its measures in Arsal, building barricades to paralyze the terrorists' movements. Protesters have meanwhile attacked the Lebanese army barricade. The soldiers retaliated by firing bullets in the air to disperse them, wounding 3 protesters. Some of them were arrested. Brigadier Ali Qansu said that the measures applied are meant to control the situation, protect the inhabitants and deny the terrorists access into Arsal. In Iraq, the Iraqi army maintained full control on al-Dolu'eya, south of Tikrit, in Salah ad-Din governorate, and lifted the siege which was imposed on it by ISIS terrorists, killing dozens of them and injuring others. The Iraqi army also defeated ISIS terrorists, expelling them from the 2 areas of al-Buhrin, south of Tikrit, and at-Tureshe, south of Samarra, killing 27 terrorists. In Sinjar, Iraqi forces foiled an attack by ISIS terrorists, killing many of them. The Iraqi army also liberated many areas in Salah ad-Din governorate, killing 215 ISIS terrorists, as the Iraqi Air Force killed 23 dangerous terrorists, including Mizher Dadoush, the responsible for the explosive devices in ISIS. On the other hand, the terrorist organization of ISIS executed by gunfire one of their so-called rulers in Al-Qayyara in Al-Mosul. The UN Security Council will vote either today or tomorrow on a Palestinian draft resolution calling for setting a deadline to end the Israeli occupation of the occupied Palestinian lands and to establish a Palestinian state before the end of 2017. The draft resolution needs the approval of 9 Security Council's member states out of 15 in order to be passed. Though the draft resolution has been accorded an international interest on a wide scale, the American administration is, however, expected as usual to use the veto against it in a new stand of bias on the side of the Zionist entity. PLO Executive Committee's member Saib Urayqat said the 8 amendments introduced into the Palestinian draft resolution have been completely maintained and consequently it can be approved. In occupied Palestine, Israeli settlers have stormed into Al-Aqsa Mosque backed by the Israeli occupation troops. Scores of Palestinian worshippers from Jerusalem and other occupied Palestinian territories, as well as school students, clashed with the Israeli settlers. In a relevant context, Israeli bulldozers leveled to earth the houses of 2 Palestinians in Bab al-Mukabbar neighborhood, southeast of occupied Jerusalem. Suffocation cases have been reported among many Palestinians when Israeli occupation troops fired gas bombs in the ancient town of Al-Khalil, Hebron city. Dozens of Bahrainis have demonstrated against arresting the General Secretary of Al-Wefaq opposition society Ali Salman by Al-Khalifa authorities. The demonstrators stressed that Al-Khalifa are trying to overcome the opposition movements by all means. They called for liberating Salman and stopping the clampdown on freedom of opinion, which would damage the political environment and undermine social stability. Indonesian authorities said they retrieved 40 bodies of the passengers on the AirAsia plane that crashed last Sunday, carrying 162 people on board. Boated bodies and debris were found floating in Indonesian waters today, ending the mystery of AirAsia flight 8501, which crashed into the Java Sea with 162 people aboard. The carrier vanished on Sunday halfway through a 2-hour flight between Surabaya, Indonesia and Singapore after encountering storm clouds. In the U.S., crowds of people rallied outside the Los Angeles Police Department today, protesting the racist practices against the black people. Protesters carried pictures of the black people who were killed by U.S. police, demanding accountability for the crimes. The protesters defied the security measures approaching police barriers and barbed wires as a police helicopter was called for emergency interference. Public protest against the U.S. racist practices spread in several U.S. cities. The Times Square in New York City is expected to witness a huge protest on the eve of the New Year celebrations, challenging the mayor's orders to stop the demonstrations against the police. Finally, and in our local news, the Patriarchal Commission of Mar Afram, the Syriac for Development, in cooperation with the Children of the Homeland Group, a religious social play was presented at the Holy Cross Church entitled The Return of the Child of the Cave on the occasion of Christmas.
Under the patronage of His Holiness Patriarch Mar Ignatius Afram II, the Patriarch of Antioch and all the Orient, Supreme Chairman of the Syriac Orthodox Church in the World, the Patriarchal Commission of Mar Afram, the Syriac for Development, in cooperation with the Children of the Homeland Group, a religious social play was presented at the Holy Cross Church entitled The Rebirth of the Child of the Cave.
We are gathered here at the Holy Cross Hall to present a play about the rebirth of the Child of the Cave, a Christmas festivity to invoke this holy occasion amidst the tragic events Syria is passing through, and to say to the world that we are the children of life, not death.
The title is Return of Cave Child. This play is an invitation to restore this occasion from Santa Claus to the child Jesus. It's for the whole family to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
This is an invitation for Jesus Christ to restore his place instead of Santa Claus. Merry Christmas for all.
The play talks about the rebirth of Jesus Christ, the child of the cave, who has been forgotten by the world that has confined its interests to Christmas decorations and parties.
The play is a religious social comedy that talks about the deceitful aspects of our current life, particularly the life of certain social brackets. It embodies the grief and joy of the Syrians and reflects the need to pursue all available means in order to alleviate the repercussions of the present crisis through art and culture to ultimately overcome the pain and proceed towards a better future.
With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Nariman Qassam, but after a short break.